The modding scene for Bethesda games is one of, if not the largest in the entire industry, and unsurprisingly, fans as a result have come up with some fantastic ideas that not only improve the vanilla experience, but also some go on to be their entire own games. From massive creations such as Enderroll, Beyond Skyrim, or Skyblivion to smaller but must-have mods such as Convenient Horses, Bethesda is well aware of the impact that mods have in their games, allowing them to be played for over 10 years now, as is the case with Skyrim. Some of these ideas are simply too good to let go, and that's why today we're going to be taking a look at some of the top mods from past Bethesda games that hopefully make it into the vanilla experience when Starfield launches on November 11th, 2022. Let me ask you this, what is better than having a very good designed heads-up display? Well, simple. Having a completely customizable heads-up display that's well made. That's where the mod iHUD, or Immersive HUD by Gopher, comes into play. iHUD, I believe, goes as far back as Fallout 3, and yet Bethesda has never gone too far into incorporating customizable heads-up display elements within their games. But with iHUD, you effectively get this ability to display whatever elements you want when you need them, and hide them when you don't. It's really that simple. Items like your health bar can be tweaked so that it only appears when you reach below a certain percentage. Features like the compass can be hidden until you take a certain action, such as getting into combat or aiming down your sights, so it seems like you're actually focusing in and taking a lay of the land. Even elements like the stealth meter can be completely disabled so that you can have a more immersive experience. You don't know if somebody's searching for you or actively knows where you are, or if you're completely hidden. Games like The Witcher 3 have the feature to change the size of the minimap, or hide it entirely, or completely remove other elements from the HUD, allowing you to customize exactly what you want to see and what you don't. And it should be a staple in more titles. I'm surprised that it isn't more widely adopted by other games. You're going to have to do a lot to convince me that settlements are not somehow going to make a return in Starfield. One of the more popular features recently added to Bethesda games, it started with Hearthfire and Skyrim, expanded to full settlements in Fallout 4, and then became partially the entire concept behind Fallout 76. Despite the fact that feelings are generally mixed towards the settlement system, it's still a pretty cool feature for an open world RPG to have, and it's one that I know Bethesda genuinely enjoys seeing the creations that people can come up with. That being said, admittedly, even fans of the system can actively become bored or disengaged, or just find it tedious to have to do everything on your own. And that's where Sim Settlements comes in. With Sim Settlements, you as a protagonist can focus on the important things, like, you know, saving the world, that little tiny quest that's buried beneath dozens of other quests in your log. All the while, your settlers will actually get off their asses and build some of the houses on their own for a change. That's a vast oversimplification of what Sim Settlements is actually capable of, but essentially the idea, and I'm quoting this from the mod page, settlers should build their own damn houses. With Sim Settlements, one of the primary features is you no longer need to micromanage every single aspect of your settlement in Fallout 4. Instead, as long as you're providing overall supervision and continuing to check in every once in a while, your settlement will continue to expand and grow and populate on its own without you needing to micromanage every aspect, meaning each time you revisit a particular settlement, you'll get to actually see the changes that took place, how it evolved, what new buildings or shops were put up, who moved in there. For those who really like building custom structures, you can still do that. That's completely an option. But for many of us who partially engaged with the system and saw a lot of potential with it, but couldn't be bothered to continuously have to do everything on our own, Sim Settlements is a godsend. Starfield is going to be a return to some more hardcore RPG mechanics that's based on Todd Howard's own words in past interviews. And one thing that has been noticeably absent at the launch of previous Bethesda titles, with the exception of Fallout 76, was survival mode. Survival mode is one of those features that was initially added in Fallout New Vegas, and it was massively popular, with fans hoping that it would make a turn in subsequent Bethesda entries, and yet at launch, it's been noticeably absent. Fallout 4 got it in a post-release update, and Skyrim had it in a content creation paid add-on, if you will. Survival mode is just one of those features that modders have been adding in since Oblivion, with the most popular one being basic primary needs. Fallout 76 was built around survival. It was Bethesda's take on the survival craft genre. Adding it into the vanilla game for Starfield seems like a no-brainer. Bonus points if the survival mode is customizable, where you can change the amount that players need to eat or drink based on how involved you want the system to be. That would be fantastic, but because of its high demand, because of its popularity, it's something that admittedly I would be disappointed if it wasn't available at the launch of the game, or worse, if it was added as an add-on through the Creation Club that you had to pay for. Backgrounds are a fun feature. It's one that we know is confirmed to be in Starfield. It's one that Todd Howard is pretty excited about, and it also will affect certain aspects of the game as you progress. However, mods like Alternate Start allow players to create whole new role-playing opportunities, as we can pick exactly the type of start that we want that thrusts us into these incredible worlds that Bethesda builds. Especially after playing vanilla intros for years, these types of mods are almost essential to breathe some new life into the game. The exact role that backgrounds will play, we still have to wait and find out, whether or not it will be delegated to simple stat increases or decreases, or if it will determine the entire beginning of the game that you get. Ideally, there could be some form of a hybrid system where you do choose your background, but then you also get to choose your start. What you'll find is effectively you get the best of, well, all worlds. In my previous video, I talked about procedural generation, and I actually brought this mod up, the notice board. I'm not sure what it is about a notice board that appeals to me so much. Is it the simplicity of it, or is it just that it serves as a really great way to kind of shoehorn in that filler content? Notice boards are a fun way to give your character additional things to do, while also providing some incentive to explore different various regions of the map, whether it's bounties, fetch quests, rescue missions. All of these filler areas are perfectly designed for a feature such as the notice board. They don't require much context, they don't need any kind of lore or new creations made specifically for them, since it can reuse dungeons you've been to, or direct you to dungeons you haven't been to. It's a fantastic way to roleplay your character if you're only taking bounty missions to take out targets, or you're only taking rescue missions to save citizens. And it's a great way to break up the time between taking one quest line to the next quest line, or strictly doing the main quests or the faction quests. You can split that up and discover new exciting things along the way. And hell, if there's a reputation system of some kind, there's a great way to integrate those two features. The best part of all of it, it's all filler content. If you don't enjoy it or you don't want to go into it, it's incredibly simple to just ignore. And last but not least, and there's 1,000 mods that will fall into this category, but customizable everything. Whether it's more hairstyles for players to pick from, or even something like the map. You can customize your Pip-Boy color, you can customize the way it looks, you can customize your armor. We'll probably be able to customize our ships in Starfield. Allow us to customize the map, the way it displays. Mods such as Paper Map for Skyrim completely change the aesthetic of how it appears, or Satellite GPS for Fallout 4. I guess the best thing I could ask for is to say, well, Bethesda, take a look at some of the top utilized customization features, or the most asked for customization features, or the mods that are just highly downloaded, the most sought after, and think about how those can work within the context of Starfield to allow players to tailor the experience exactly what they need. Again, whether that's hairstyles, maps, appearances, the HUD, difficulty. Any of these features would be great to allow players to have a level of control over, to make the experience exactly what I'm looking for. Especially when the goal of Bethesda is to make these projects that do last for 10 years. How do you achieve that? The answer is by allowing players to customize their experiences. In a lot of cases, that might be adding new weapons, or adding new armors, or adding entire quests, as is the case with Moonpath to Elsewhere or Legacy of the Dragonborn. In other cases, that might be providing a brand new aesthetic, one that completely revitalizes the wasteland by making everything lush and green, or one that covers the entire wasteland in snow. Of course, you can't expect Bethesda to completely overhaul the map, but the point I'm trying to make is the more options they have to make the experience different each time, even from the small things like what color I display my HUD elements. Customization is king. So there you have it, 6 of my personal requests that I hope to see make it into Starfield based on past mods. There's tons of things I missed. There's so many mods, it's unbelievable, and I'm sure you guys have some really great suggestions of what you want to see. Let me know down in the comments below. Perhaps I'll make a follow-up video that directly goes with what you guys have suggested in this very video. But of course, you'll have all of your own ideas, so let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do leave a thumbs up on the video, and as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.